So when you're factoring, as a quick reminder, the first thing you want to do is look for if there's a GCF or maybe a polynomial identity, and then after that it depends on how many terms you have. What we're going to look at in this video are 3-term polynomials, usually something that looks like this. So you've got usually a quadratic, and the way I like to do 3 terms is what I call the rainbow method. So you always start by multiplying whatever's in the front times whatever's in the back, A times C basically, and that gives you your rainbow number. So we're going to work through 5 examples of factoring 3-term polynomials using this rainbow method. So I need to factor this. The first thing I'll do is look for a GCF, but there's not one. So now, since it's 3 terms, I'm going to do a little rainbow. Isn't that a beautiful purple rainbow? So my rainbow number, here, let me make a little rainbow. My rainbow number was 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. What I want to do is come up with 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 4, which was that rainbow number, but add together to give me this middle number, 5. So that's the middle. So multiply to give me the rainbow, add to give me that middle number, 5. And you're just going to have to think through some different options. One way to do it is maybe list out some things you could multiply together to get 4, like 1 times 4, 2 times 2. Which of those is going to add to give you 5? The answer would be 1 and 4. So 1 times 4 gives me 4, and 1 plus 4 gives me 5. So those are my 2 magic numbers that I need to factor this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to list out my 2 factors. Since they need to multiply together to give me x squared, I'll have an x and x, so the x times x gives me x squared. And what I'm going to fill in is the 2 numbers that I just found, a positive 1 and a positive 4. And we're almost done. If the leading coefficient was a 1, I would be done. But since the leading coefficient is a 2, we're going to need to bring that down here and do what I call divide or slide, or slide and divide, something like that. Slide and divide or slide, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to try to do is divide both of these by that 2. If they divide evenly, great. Like, see on this one, 4 divided by 2, that's just 2. So we're left with just x plus 2 on that one. If it doesn't divide evenly, or the fraction doesn't simplify, like on this one, we have 1 over 2, and there's no simplification there. What I'm going to do instead is slide it over right in front of the x. Not outside the parentheses, but right in front of the x. And I'll get 2x plus 1, because I just moved the 2 over, so 2x plus 1. Now that is my final answer, because I did a little divide or slide with the leading coefficient, and that's the 2 factors that I got. Remember, anytime you factor, you can always check your work by multiplying it out. If I do 2x times x, will I get 2x squared? Yes. And if I have 4x plus 1x, that's how I get the 5x, and 1 times 2 is 2. So it does work. These are the factors of this expression. Let's try another one. So again, I'm going to look for a GCF, but there is none, so then I'll do rainbow method. 5 times 6 is my little rainbow number, and 5 times 6 is 30. So a little bigger this time. So I want to find 2 numbers that multiply together to give me 30, the rainbow number, and add together to give me the middle number, negative 17. If you don't need to write this out, that's fine. Feel free to just go ahead and fill in your factors if you can just figure it out. All right, this one's kind of hard to figure out, so let's maybe list out some things, some options, numbers that multiply to give us 30. That would be like 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. And if I'm going to add to a negative, but multiply to a positive, they're going to have to both be negative. So if I played around with some negatives, could I add any of these and get negative 17? The answer would be this one. Negative 2 and negative 15 would multiply to give me 30 and add to give me negative 17. So I'm going to fill those into my factors, minus 2 and minus 15. Don't fill in these numbers. Sometimes people get confused. Fill in these two numbers that you just found, and x and x. Again, we're not quite done because of this 5 right here. We're going to need to divide or slide with it. So either divide it or slide it. Typically it goes into one but not the other. That's not always the case, but here it is. See how this one divides evenly? 15 divided by 5 is 3. But here, 2 doesn't divide by 5, so I'm going to slide it over and get 5x minus 2. And these are multiplied together. They should be a little closer. Again, you could check your work by distributing it out. Make sure you get back to here if you want to do that. All right, another 3 terms. So we're going to look for a GCF. There is none. So I'll do a rainbow method. There's technically a 1 in front here. So when I do 1 times 10, I just get 10. So what multiplies together to give me 10, but adds to give me 7? 1 or 10, 2 or 5, and 2 or 5 are the two numbers that I need. So I'll fill those into my 2 factors. Need some x's, of course, but I'll fill in 2 and I'll fill in 5. And I'm actually done on this one because there's only a 1 in front, and so you don't need to divide or slide when you have a 1 in front. The reason being, if I were to divide these by a 1, it's not going to change it. Or if I were to put a 1 in front, that's not going to change it. So that's my final answer on that one. Notice the reason you need them to multiply to give you this is because 2 times 5 literally has to give you 10. That's why we want them to multiply to 10. And you want them to add to that middle number because you'll have 2x plus 5x. 2 plus 5 gives you 7x. So that's why we set up this puzzle. All right. As I'm starting this one, I notice it's 3 terms. So I may be tempted to jump straight into doing the rainbow stuff, and you can do it that way, but by the time you get to the end, you're still going to have a GCF left. What you need to do first, I would recommend doing it first, is take the GCF out first. Notice we can divide them all by a 2, and so when I take that 2 out to the front, that's going to leave x squared minus 3x minus 18. So just divide those all by the 2. Now I can do rainbow method. Basically going to ignore the 2 until the end and just work with this 3-term thing. So I'm going to rainbow whatever's in front times whatever's in the back. Again, we're ignoring the 2. The 2 is its own separate thing. When I do rainbow method, I'm just working with this 1 that's directly in front of the x squared. So 1 times negative 18 is negative 18. So I want to multiply to be negative 18 and add to be negative 3. So I could do 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. 3 and 6 is probably good because those are apart by 3. If I need the 6 to be negative so that it's more negative than it is positive. So I can add to negative 3. Okay, so 3 and negative 6 are my two numbers, so I'll fill those into my factors. 3 and negative 6. You need x's as well. And since it was just a 1 in front, I don't need to divide or slide. The 2 is just a GCF. The 2 just goes in the very front. When you have a GCF, you don't divide or slide with it, it just stays in the front. So that's my final answer on that one. All right, one final example. There's no GCF, but it is 3 terms, so I'll go ahead and rainbow. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So I want to multiply to be negative 12 and add to be negative 4. So I think we want negative 6 and 2, because that multiplies to give you negative 12, and negative 6 plus 2 gives you negative 4. Don't worry if it takes you a while to think through those, that's okay. So I'll fill those into my two factors, x minus 6 and x plus 2, filling in those two numbers there. Notice I did have a leading coefficient other than 1, so I'll need to divide or slide with the 4. I wanted to show you this one because this one's a little weird, and you won't see many like this one, most likely, but when you divide here, if it doesn't divide evenly, you may also be able to just simplify the fraction. And if that's the case, you want to do that. Like 2/4 simplifies to 1/2, and 6/4 simplifies to 3/2. Like divided 2 from both. So once you have it fully simplified, that's like the divide part, and then whatever doesn't divide in, you're still going to slide that over. So in this case, I'll have to slide over that 2 and slide over this 2. That's going to give me 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. Let's check and make sure that worked. So 2x times 2x does give me 4x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x, and negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. If you combine those, they do give you negative 4x, and then negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So it did work.